Hi everyone, Avrengost here with a video on the brand new Dark Heresy trailer by Owlcat Games, which dropped just yesterday. Unlike Rogue Trader, this game places you in the sinister shadows of the Inquisition. Before we dig in, let's set the context. It's Owlcat's second Warhammer 40k CRPG, and aims for a darker, more morally complex tone. Rogue Trader was all about exploration, amassing wealth, and governing and defending your protectorate. Dark Heresy seems much darker, hinting at obscure events and revelations, while casting you as a shadowy operative. There isn't a ton of gameplay in this trailer, but what interests me most are the setting, the themes it touches on, and the name drops. The first theme worth noting is the risk faced by the Inquisition's agents, not least the danger of losing their own soul while investigating the worst terrors in the Imperium. Heinrich himself said it in Rogue Trader during his companion mission on Chiava Gamma. He remarked, "I know I'll pay the price fully one day." And without spoiling anything, I'll just say that some of the possible endings reflect this prediction. There is direct contrast between being a rogue trader and an acolyte of the Inquisition. The former operates with fleets, armies, and immense wealth, while the latter works in the shadows with limited resources, facing untold dangers. This alone sets an entirely different tone for the new game. The first name drop that really caught my attention was the mention of the Calixis sector, true to the pen and paper Dark Heresy. This already calls for a very dark and grim atmosphere, even inside an already grim-dark setting. The capital word Scintilla is mentioned, as well as the Bastion Serpentis. That's more than enough to spark my interest. It's also said that this game will follow a detective-like structure, where every choice carries consequences. I wonder if there will be a full-fledged investigation system similar to the strategic layer Owlcat likes to include in its games, like Kingdom Management in Kingmaker, Crusade Management in Wrath of the Righteous, or the Colony system in Rogue Trader. The trailer's narration, which I think is excellent and perfectly suited to the game's tone, comes across as weary, like someone who has seen far too much in life. It clearly states that the Tyrant Star and the Night Lords will be connected in some way, and it's up to us to discover why. I imagine this will form the overarching narrative of the entire game, the main quest, if you will. Another intriguing reveal is the conviction system, said to distinguish between Puritans, who strictly adhere to imperial doctrine, and radicals, who believe the ends justify the means. In Rogue Trader's conviction panel, there was already a gradient between Puritan and radical, but in my 7 playthroughs it never actually came into play. I wonder if that was a prototype for the system we'll now see fully realized in Dark Heresy. Overall, this new trailer sets a chilling, investigative vibe, with darkness permeating everything. I'm already pretty sold on the game, but let's dig into what some of those name drops really mean. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not a Warhammer lorebeard. I've just been a fan of the setting since I was a kid, and I enjoy digging into specific names or events. Games Workshop is very strict about proper portrayal of their lore. License withdrawals have happened before, so consistency across tabletop and video games is important. There is a lot to be said about the Calixis sector, but I'll keep it brief. This isn't a dedicated lore video. The sector once contained many important Imperial worlds, but it's also remote, far from the heavily guarded core systems of the Imperium of Man. Its isolation worsened with the appearance of the Great Rift, since the sector lies northward from the galactic core in the Segmentum Obscurus, between the Halo stars and the Eye of Terror. Though it's spared from the Imperium's bloodiest war zones, the sector suffers from another problem, a pervasive darkness that breeds heresies and conspiracies. One of the most infamous is the Tyrant Star, an esoteric phenomenon where a black dwarf star appears in the sky of a world, driving the population into madness. It manifests unpredictably, and is tied to a prophecy known as the Propheticum Hereticus Tenebrae, which is of great interest to the Inquisition. Scintilla, the sector capital, is home to the Ordos Calixis, the Inquisition branch that operates here and across the Segmentum Obscurus. I expect this will be the branch our character is connected to. They also maintain the Bastion Serpentis, an archive of forbidden lore. The Lord Inquisitor of the Ordos Calixis, Aegult Kadin, is said to be the de facto ruler of the sector. I'd be surprised if we don't encounter him, or at least his representatives, in the game. Then there are the Night Lords. They were the 8th Legion of the first founding, but betrayed the Emperor during the Horus Heresy, becoming one of the 9 traitor legions of the Chaos Space Marines. They serve Chaos Undivided, meaning they're not aligned with a single Chaos god, and they specialize in terror tactics. Feeding off fear and pain, they excel at demoralizing their enemies before the battle even begins. In the era Indomitus, their raids and cruel hunts only intensified. From what I've seen so far, I expect Dark Heresy to be even darker than Rogue Rogue Trader, which already had its share of grim moments. I'm curious how the story will fit into the established lore, since the Calixis sector already has extensive material written about it. Will the Tyrant Star be a device actively used by the Night Lords, or will they simply exploit it for the dark purposes? They are no strangers to sinister, unconventional tactics, like when they engineered the fake passage through the Great Rift to lure Imperial ships into slaughter. I'm also eager to see how the investigation system will function. If it becomes a core element, it could greatly enhance replayability, given different outcomes across different playthroughs. Owlcat's games usually offer strong replay value, so I'm expecting Dark Heresy to follow suit. That wraps up my breakdown of the trailer and its lore implications. If Rogue Trader was your entry into Warhammer 40,000 or into CRPGs in general, Dark Heresy looks like a profound next step, darker, more cerebral, and deeply loyal to the universe's lore. What choices do you think you'll make as an Inquisitor? Don't forget to wishlist the game, and thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps me reach more people on the platform. I plan to follow Dark Heresy closely and create more content about it as development progresses. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.